All of the following are inalienable rights specified by John Locke except
Clear logic. Your choice, the pursuit of happiness, is sound and 100% true.
democratic ideas believe that ultimate power should rest with one person.
Good job. Your answer D. People works well here.
I do not want any authority over me who will decide my course of action.
Right choice. Anarchist is the best answer.
John Rawls was most critical of which ethical theory of justice?
You got it. Your choice utilitarianism is right.
What did Machiavelli believe was the most important thing for a ruler?
Smart move. Getting and keeping power is an accurate answer.
Inherent in all persons, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness?
Smart pick. Inalienable rights is the correct choice.
Who believed that man must be ruled by a sovereign or absolute ruler? Correct. Hobbes is the right answer.
In a social contract, people give up certain freedoms in exchange for
On track. Order and security is the correct answer.
Article 50 of the European Union's Lisbon Treaty is related to what?
Excellent choice. Brexit is the right answer.
Which of the following categories is not included in the dialectic?
Nice work. You chose introduction and it is correct.
What type of government did Machiavelli ultimately decide was best? Valid point. Republic is true.
His views were influenced by the brutality of the English Civil War.
Well picked. Hobbes is the correct answer.
In Mencius's political philosophy, government of the pa means dash.
Right again. Military lord is a valid answer.
What influential literary work did Thomas Hobbes produce in 1651?
You chose Leviathan, and it is correct.
Who held the highest authority in medieval political philosophy?
You're right. V. The king is the correct answer.
The harm principle comes from which of the following thinkers?
Solid response. John Stuart Mill is a valid choice.
Which term means all citizens are required to follow the law?
Sharp thinking. Rule of law is the right choice.
Martha Nussbaum frames her political philosophy on what basis?
Nicely done. Capabilities is a solid answer.
When was the Universal Declaration of Human Rights announced?
Perfect. A. December 10, 1948 is the correct choice.
Which branch of government is responsible for creating laws?
Bravo! Legislative is the answer.
How many branches of government does the United States have?
Nice selection. 3 is the correct and valid answer.
What branch of government was the People's Court in Athens?
Great thinking. Judicial is the right choice.
Which term means citizens are active in their government?
Well done. Civic participation is the right choice.
What branch of government was the Council of 500 in Athens?
Excellent. Executive is a brilliant choice.
Liberalism believes that what type of government is ideal?
Strong choice.
B. Democracy is the right answer.
The most respected religion in the Sukhothai period was.
Well reasoned. Buddhism is the correct choice.
The image represents the thinking of which philosopher?
Exactly. Charles Montesquieu makes sense and it is right choice.
Liberalism believes that what is the basis of society?
Good thinking. Individual rights and freedoms is the right answer.
Who influenced Gandhi in regard to civil disobedience?
Great job. Henry David Thoreau is the accurate answer.
What type of economy does liberalism believe is ideal?
Correct response. Free market economy is the most accurate answer. Mencius said that between friends there should be dash. You're right. Good faith is the correct answer.
What branch of government was the assembly in Athens?
Perfect. Legislative is the correct choice.
Who thought that the state of nature was a bad thing?
Good thinking. Hobbes is the right answer.
What are the first 3 words of the Constitution?
Valid point. We the people is true.
He wrote the Second Treatise of Civil Government.
Great thinking. Locke is the right choice.
What idea did Machiavelli introduce into politics?
Strong choice. Realism is the right answer.
Dash said that man is nasty, brutal and selfish.
Good job. Your answer, Hobbes, works well here.
Which thinker came up with separation of powers?
Excellent. Baron Montesquieu is a brilliant choice.
Which thinker came up with the social contract?
Right again. John Locke is a valid answer.
The concept of a government limited in power.
Nice selection. Limited government is the correct and valid answer.
Mencius, like Confucius, regarded man as a dash.
On track. Social being is the correct answer.
What is the main role of the judicial branch?
Smart pick. Interprets the laws is the correct choice.
Which thinker came up with the general will? Excellent choice. Jean-Jacques Rousseau is the right answer.
The first 10 amendments to the Constitution.
Solid response. Bill of Rights is a valid choice.
When did modern political philosophy begin?
Exactly. 17th century makes sense and it is right choice.
What is used as a metaphor for Leviathan?
Sharp thinking. Civitas is the right choice.
Machiavelli is most famous for what book?
Right choice. The Prince is the best answer.
The capital of the Sukhothai kingdom was?
Nice work. You chose Mong Sukhothai and it is correct.
Country of origin for Locke and Hobbes.
Correct response. England is the most accurate answer.
What type of government did Rome have?
Smart move. Representative democracy is an accurate answer.
Who is the father of the Constitution?
Nicely done. James Madison is a solid answer.
Who was the first US president?
Dash. Well reasoned.
George Washington is the correct choice.
He established inalienable rights. You got it? Your choice, Locke, is right. Who founded the Sukhothai kingdom?
Well picked. Father Srianthrathit is the correct answer.
Country of origin for Montesquieu? Bravo, France is the answer. What is Hobbes' most famous work? Well done. The Leviathan is the right choice. He wrote The Social Contract. Great job. Rousseau is the accurate answer. Country of origin for Rousseau. You chose Switzerland, and it is correct. He wrote Spirit of the Laws. Clear logic. Your choice, Montesquieu, is sound and 100% true. He wrote Leviathan. Correct. Hobbes is the right answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format? Excellent. Contact Narayan Chengder is a brilliant choice